Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today we are going to be putting some used ST suspension on a buddy's 2004 325. As of right now, he is running the stock suspension and we are very excited to get the car lowered a little bit, stiffened up a little bit, and overall make it a better driving experience. But before we get into our install today, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure to follow us on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports, where we're doing giveaways. The giveaway this go around is 2 M3 steering wheels for the E46 chassis. I'm gonna be doing some steering wheel wraps, cleaning them up, and then sending them out to 2 lucky followers. Back to today's content. This is a coilover set, but it is not the standard typical coilover set where you actually adjust the ride height and the spring rate separate. They are built together. So if you want the car to be lower, it softens up your suspension. If you want it to be taller, it stiffens it. And that's why we pulled this suspension off of my wife's E46, the black car. We pulled it off of that car because this is more of like a daily driver suspension. It's really good for daily driving, and we'll get more into that in just a moment. We did do a ECS tuning install on her car. Those are full true coilovers, and I'll have the link to that up here. This suspension we will have linked in the description below. I don't know if this specific setup is still available. Last time I looked, I couldn't seem to quite find it, but there is a set that's equivalent to this one through ST, and then I'll maybe link a couple other brands that do a setup that's similar to this. Really, really good daily driving stuff, like I said. It's just the tunability when it comes to track focused things, there's just not quite as much there. You don't have any dampening control on this. Again, for daily driver, doesn't really matter that much. For a race car, you're gonna want dampening control. You're gonna wanna be able to change your spring rate without changing the height of the car. And with this car being around 150,000 miles, it's overdue for a suspension upgrade. So a little bit of background on this suspension. I did have this exact same kit on my white race car back like forever ago. When I bought it back in, this would have been like 2017, I think I picked it up for about $700. And it was a really good setup, but I came into the same issues that drove me to believe that it's a much better daily driver system. And so what ended up happening was I moved that suspension from my race car over to a daily driver and then put my K-Sport Control Pros on the race car. And the daily driver that I had, which was a red 330 sedan, I ended up selling a couple years back. So I was very happy with it. I had it on that car, and it was really nice to be able to easily adjust the ride height. I would put it up during the winter, and I put big chunky snow tires on it, and I put it down in the summer when I put my low profile tires back on it. So it's a good setup. I'll have everything linked in the description below. We are going to be using CTR sway bar end links, just like we did in the previous video. And yeah, the only thing that we're worried about is this convertible top. As this car ages, these tops aren't the most reliable, and this one's already been kind of being fussy. The owner was saying that he was having a hard time getting it to open up and stuff like that. So as long as we can get back in here for the rear suspension, I think we'll be in a pretty good place. The fronts are super easy, and if you've got a coupe or a sedan, you just pull the carpet out in the back. So yes, we're gonna start with the easy part. We're gonna do the front first, and just postpone the maybe bad news later on in the video. So let's get this front pulled apart and get it replaced. So as you can see, the car is much lower. We're thinking it's around 2.25 inches lower than the factory ride height, and it has stiffened up quite a bit. So I probably should have done the scientific shake test before we put the suspension on, but it was pretty soft. At 150,000 miles and close to 20 some odd years old, it was well overdue for this suspension. If there's any follow-up, if anybody wants to hear any long-term reviews, I mean, this suspension's not new, and we can do like a year follow-up or 6 months after we get some miles in on this car. It is a daily driver, like I said, so it's getting driven basically every single day. So we can definitely do more videos on the suspension in the future if anybody's interested. Make sure you're following this car, blessed_E46 on Instagram. Once again, be following us, Tenza_Motorsports on Instagram. Do giveaways. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Any comments or questions down in the comment section below. Everything we use today will be linked in the description. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.
Bam!